I want to try and explain the ego because, you know, again, within the spiritual community, there's a lot of distortion about the ego, unkindness, if you like, about what the ego is, at various levels of interpretation. So I just want to give you my understanding of it in the hope that it helps you see another person and have compassion for them as the observer, but also the beauty of seeing yourself and having kindness for your own ego in understanding it. Okay, so if we go back to, say, the natural human being, the natural one being the pure human being that doesn't carry all the baggage that has accrued over thousands and thousands of years in the mental mind. Let's take the natural, organic, you could call it the organic human being, how the human was originally designed. It was designed in its purity of physical form to have a limited experience in the sense that solidity limits. Okay, that's what I mean by limited experience, because solidity is light condensed, so therefore it is limited to being in a certain frequency bandwidth. Within the mind, within the processor, there's a little program designed called, we can call it the ego, but actually another word you could call it is the protector. Okay, so you take man walking along and there's a branch about to fall on its head. The ego will look up, see the branch about to fall and jump away. It's protecting the human body. That's what the ego was designed for originally. I've said this before years ago, but we're just repeating for newcomers. So you're walking along the road and an animal, or an animal is about to attack you, say, thousands of years ago, and you get to decide whether to run away from the animal or you get to decide to stand and fight. That's the ego. It's trying to protect the human body. So the ego is housed within the mind, within the processor. It's a mini program, and its only design was to protect the body. And you have to remember also that this processor, which holds the ego, so the ego itself has no understanding whatsoever of any other dimensions other than 3D than 4D. It doesn't exist in the fifth, in the distorted way it's become, which I'll explain. That's what the ego is designed for, to protect you from the physical reality. So the soul creates the physical body, yeah, experiences with the physical body, and the ego is designed to protect the physicality of body itself from danger. And that's it. That's all it is. That's all it was. Until it got distorted and added to. And so instead of just being fearful of a tree falling or an animal coming at you, it became fearful of a person coming at you. And then it became fearful of the words spoken by the person coming at you. And that's where the ego gradually, if this is the human being, this is you, me, any human being, to different degrees, and I emphasize different degrees because everybody has allowed the ego to take over to different degrees. But if this is the human body with a purple head today, the ego can potentially take over and take over and take over and take over and take over the human. So this is the part I'd love for you to understand, because it's beautiful in understanding why you react the way you do and why other people react the way they do. There's a beauty to it. There's an understanding that you can have in your heart. And that is, we've got this original ego that took up, say, this much of the human being, okay? Just this much, just to protect it from the solidity of the world, the dangers, in order to help the body survive and live, okay? Not die in an instant as soon as it was born, okay? It's designed to protect it. But then the ego became more, it depends on the human being, and over time, over the evolution of humankind, the ego started to have another experience. And that, let's take it to this lifetime and say that that other experience was a parent shouting at you. And so the ego decided it needed to protect itself. And so it would have a particular reaction in order to protect the child. And so the child reacted a certain way, which might be to run away, it might be to fight, it might be to scream, it might be to go quiet and say nothing. But whatever way, it was designed, this ego, to protect the child. And my way was to not, what's the word, not react. You know, not talk back, because then anything as a child would be over quicker. So that was how my ego coped with surviving this reality, was to not add fuel to the fire and to stay quiet. And so that's what my ego did to survive, to protect my body. But somebody else, it could be to shout, argue, blah, blah, blah. And then you have another experience and the ego reacts. And it reacts this way. And then the ego can become more and more and more until, look what happens, or can potentially happen, is instead of being the human being in its pure organic form, the human thinks it is the ego. So in other words, this little program that was designed to protect it, the human thinks it now is all of this ego, and it isn't. This is a sheath, you know, a shield of protection. This is a layer of protection that the human being has allowed to envelop it and envelop it and envelop it and envelop it until the human thinks it is that. I am angry. I am upset. I will walk away. I will cry. I am this. I am my anger. I am hurt. I am my pain. No, you're not. You're not. You're this. This is what you are underneath this. And so this whole 4D experience is the experience of being triggered by others. And what is triggered? The ego is triggered. For the human to look at, to see past, what is this protection? What is this pain? What is this fear that I have that is so distorted? And once it's seen through, it's let go of. And then it's let go of and let go of and let go of. And eventually the ego becomes less. It becomes back to this small value that it is. And that's why I say, I was trying to correct myself before, because it's not that we lose all the ego, it's that we return to the true pure part of the ego, which is just to protect this physical body, so that you have that physical life. just to run, you know, jump out of the way of the tree falling or the bus coming towards you. Yeah? But all our reactions that are defense reactions, that are defense-based, it's just the ego protecting itself, protecting this human. That's what it's designed to do. The ego is your protector. There's nothing wrong with it. It's trying to protect you. But what's happened is it all got distorted, and then this person thinks it is this. And then this person outside of them thinks it is this. And it isn't actually at a higher level true. So when you look at another person reacting, you can kind of understand why. You can have compassion for their difficulties, because you can see that they haven't worked through something that is yet to come, that is yet to be worked through. It doesn't mean you have to accept what they're dishing out to you at all, because that then comes to choice, which we'll talk about as well. But you can understand, you can have compassion, you can have sight. You can be the observer of the fact that they're still running a pattern or a program that they're not ready to see. And every one of us, we get through our programs at our own time